I know. Partick, Thistle, champions, oh. Partick, Thistle, champions, oh. Get in there, man. Super. Love it.
I've got a shocking story I could
Oh.
tell you actually, but there's no way I'm saying it when we're
What is
recording.
it?
I can't say right now.
Hello there, and welcome to the BSR Sports Podcast from the fans, for the fans. My name's Blair McNally.
I'm Blair Murphy.
I'm Robbie Hanratty.
And I'm with McFarlane.
And what better way to bring you a podcast than the day after my team, Partick Thistle, clinched the League One title. May it not sound such a triumph, but what a night it was. What an absolute incredible feat. Robbie, will we get straight into it? Oh,
Yeah, for sure.
What a feeling. What an absolute feeling. Up that canal versus Falkirk. Chance to clinch a title. Blew them at the roof.
You done
Blew
it in
them at the
style,
water.
I'll tell you that.
5-0. It's a feeling I'll never forget. What a night. Robbie, from the outside perspective, what did you think looking in?
Well, looking just before the restart of League One season, I thought Partick Thistle, obviously they've got a good squad, a high budget for the league, but there was outside the playoff spots, I'm pretty sure. So it's a fair
Sixth.
Yeah,
Sitting in sixth place. 8 points. Sitting in sixth place. And only in March we were 8 points behind Falkirk. So a month ago, the 20th of March, we were 8 points behind Falkirk. And Thistle were nowhere to be seen. Drawn against the likes of Forfar, who are bottom of the league. Losing last minute winners, last minute equalisers. 2-0 down at half time against East Fife. Major difference.
You fairly turned it around, and from someone who loves Scottish football from the outside, I thought it was Falkirk's to lose. They've obviously sacked the manager. They've been under a 5-0 defeat, and I've seen some of the goals they conceded. The players weren't trying at all defensively. It was all over the place. But credit to Thistle to put in such a run of form in the last month. There's games, 3 times a week? At the moment, it's been loads. So the fact that they've kept consistent, got wins, and got one so emphatically, it's give lads like you a moment in the sun to celebrate. And what better way to do it than to clinch a title? Because obviously you spoke to me before, you didn't feel you should be in League One in the first place. So
No.
at least you're out of there
Never.
now.
We were shafted by the SPFL. I think everybody knows that. But to do it in the fashion we did do it in is incredible, because myself included, not even Thistle were ruled out of the title race. We ruled Ian McCall out of the managerial position. I think many Thistle fans, as I said, including myself, were calling for Ian McCall's head not that long ago. It was only, we were 2-0 down to East Fife at half time, and all of us were saying McCall out in the comments, McCall out. And it shows you football's a crazy sport.
Football fans are fickle.
Because first of all, I was calling for McCall out. Second of all, we were counting ourselves out the title race. And even when I was interviewing McCall at the games, the pleasure that I do have of interviewing the managers and players at games, there was never a real positivity around the journalist perspective. It was always, where do we go from here? Where does Thistle as a club go from here? Where can you find that spark? What is it that's missing with Thistle? And it was the same week in, week out, because it was always draws, late equalisers were losing. And to just get that spark that Thistle had been needing for so long, and it just clicked after the restart. And I think it's a case of 20... I think it was 17 goals and none conceded. It might be up to 22 now with that one last night. 22 goals and none conceded. It's a crazy stat. And how can you not win the league with a stat like that? But to be 8 points behind Falkirk with a month to go, what an incredible way to win a title. and to see the fans all outside the canal. The police were there. I was there. I could have been working at the game last night and I said, no, bag of cans, up that canal. I'm enjoying this one because there was no chance I was typing into that laptop when I could have been in with the atmosphere, and thank God I did, because
You'd have been
what a night.
shouting.
Pyro, flares, you name it, it was all there. What an atmosphere, and every single person that was there. I seen many people that I didn't see before. Coronavirus obviously shouldn't have been there, but when something like this comes along, I think Rangers fans can agree with me on this one. It's just out the window, isn't it? And to see so many people just with joy on their faces after the pain Thistle have been through for so many years, I think after we got top 6, it was just a downward spiral. To be relegated in the playoffs, I was there, home and away. To be relegated again, obviously we stayed up at Queen of the South, and then to be relegated again in the fashion that we were by the SPFL. And now, for all this to happen, it's just been such a whirlwind. And last night was just a release. It was a release for everybody. Thistle fans got just unleashed, and players came to the window. Thistle fans went mental. Pyro, flares, or you name it. It was just scenes, and I wouldn't change it for the world. Honestly, I wouldn't.
Yeah, I can imagine, Blair, because now we've got to look at and think who's going to follow Thistle up from League One, because my other local team to where I'm filming, Aberdeen, Cove, seem to be the informed team at the moment. So Falkirk, as you say, were 8 points clear. They're obviously on the back with 5-0 defeat. There's Falkirk, there's Cove, and Morton, is there? Or is there another club from League One?
Morton, no, Airdrie. We'll talk about Morton in a wee bit after tonight's results. So you've got Montrose, you've got Airdrie. Montrose, I would really count out of it. If Montrose beat Falkirk tomorrow night, they're still in it. Falkirk need to win one of the. Cove are definitely in the playoffs because they got a result the other night. They won 2-0 last night. Falkirk and Montrose, they have to win. Montrose need to win both of their last games. Falkirk need to win one of their last 2 games to be in the playoffs. Falkirk seem like a crumbling wall at the moment, and it would not surprise me if Cove dismantle them in the playoffs. You've said it before, and I can echo your thoughts on that. Cove coming to Firhill, they're a strong outfit. They took away a 2-each draw the other night, drew with them again, and then early in the season, we get beat by a painful last-minute winner. Cove are a very, very strong outfit. Paul Hartley at the forefront of it. He's an excellent manager. Paul Hartley, we all know he knows his stuff. He's played at the very highest level. But Falkirk, there's loads of changes going on at the club right now, and it just seems like a fallen brick wall at the moment, because everything that could be going wrong for them is going wrong for them after being such a good position in winter. So, what are your thoughts, obviously, being from Aberdeen and the situation that Cove are in?
Well, for Cove, my thoughts personally as an Aberdeen fan, I don't want Cove to get to the Premier League because it'll take fans away from Aberdeen, because I know there's plenty of fans that would go watch Cove instead of Aberdeen if it was playing a higher level, but I also want to see a local team do well. So I think, as you say, Cove, they're actually punching above their weight this season. Yeah, I've spoke how good some of the players are, but no one expected them to go from Highland League, then to League 2, then League 1, and then be battling to get into the Championship so soon. Because obviously Gretna done that, but even Rangers, I don't think managed to go all the way up without challenges.
Money.
So yeah,
let's be honest, it is the money that's been pumped into them, but they're doing, even with money doesn't make you succeed, does it? We've seen that with plenty of teams in the past.
But I echo exactly what you say about Falkirk. I've got quite a few Falkirk fans on Twitter that I follow, and they're just saying this has been coming for the last 2-3 years. Wrong appointments, managers, misrecruitments. Like, we've all seen it with teams that we've supported, even Luke and Liam. Like, if things go wrong, it can be a downward spiral. It takes a while to actually be sorted.
You're talking to a Liverpool fan?
No comment.
Aye. So for the playoffs. We've seen the championship results tonight. A very interesting one to see. Morton will be facing whoever wins in the League One playoffs. What are your thoughts on that coming into it?
Yeah, in terms of Morton, it was a relief for Ayr United. Like, that's where I stay now. So adopted local team, it's relief for them to get that 2-2 draw up in Inverness, because that was a tricky one. So they finished on the same points as Morton, obviously, but with Morton drawing against Arbroath tonight and having a worse goal difference, Morton's form, speak about Falkirk, Morton are the same. Like, they just, I don't know if it's just a goal scorer or what they lack, but they just haven't seen much like positive results
There's no
from them at all
spark.
this season.
There's no spark watching them. Been to a couple of games this season. There's no spark in the team. It's all individual performances. There's no real team spirit, and there's a lot of frustration involved. They've had a lot of changes. Morton are another team that are crumbling at the seams right now. You've obviously got a lot of changes in the background. Money. What happened with Hopkin as well? It's a hard one for Morton at the moment, but it's a case of, are they strong enough to stay up?
Yeah, I echo that, and I think, as we spoke about Cove, I think Cove, and even if Falkirk could get that together, because Falkirk on paper have strong team, I think Morton, the fact that they are a team full of individuals and haven't had a positive result in a while, I can't see them staying up from that league now. I think I'll eat my words if any Morton fans do listen to this and they do stay up, but I just don't see that happening. And speaking of the championship, the fact that Dundee, you speak about Partick Thistle coming out of nowhere. Dundee, they've won the last 8 games and now secured second place. And it was a while where I wasn't expecting that, because they was fairly stumbling and losing late goals and all that as well.
Raith Rovers were flying. Raith Rovers were absolutely flying. Tonight was a shock. I didn't expect Hearts to become runaway winners with that one. And a 4-0 triumph. Raith Rovers, the Davidson red card was a bit judgmental. I don't really know about that. It seemed to be a dive, to be honest with you. I don't think he touched a player. But Raith Rovers, obviously sitting in 3rd place now. Dundee in 2nd place in the playoffs. That's going to be an interesting one as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I think with tonight's results, Dundee have wrapped up 2nd, so they don't need to play in that playoff.
Yes.
The first playoff, so it'll be Dunfermline and Raith that would go up against each other. So that'll because Raith for
a Faith derby. A Faith derby,
Raith,
it'll be massive.
Raith beat Hearts 2-1 or 3-2 or something earlier in the season, and Raith are really, like, the football they played as well. It wasn't just getting results. They played some really good football, but they aren't too informed. Dundee, Jason Cummings, I think, scored again tonight.
Twice.
He's really in form, and it's a signing that Aberdeen fans might hate me for saying it, but I would have had him at Aberdeen's a guy that I think maybe the Championship's his level, but he scores goals when he does.
He scored twice against Liverpool last season.
Yeah, for
Shrewsbury,
was it? Yeah.
Sure he did. So it shows you he is a flair player. He can switch it on when he needs to, can't he?
Yeah, for sure. And I think that can kind of shoot Dundee to that. We might go on to it, but we're going through the playoffs, and then Dundee, if they win that, then they'll play against the bottom of the Premiership. And obviously, whoever's the second bottom of the Premiership won't be in good form either. So Dundee can take that momentum into that as well.
Yeah. Just to round off on Partick Thistle, because I'm just loving how I can milk this moment. Absolutely loving it. Where do Partick Thistle go next season in the Championship? Do you reckon we can hold on to Scott Tiffany? He's out of contract and at the end of the season. Do you think Scott Tiffany will stay at Thistle?
Well, if he's enjoying his football there and his form's been great, I can't see. With Thistle, they probably would pay more wages than the likes of Queen of the South and several other teams in the league. So I can't see why he wouldn't, unless there's a potential suitor in the Premier League that wants him. But the Scottish Premier League, to clarify that.
Yeah, obviously being on loan from Livingston, it is a hard one, because Livingston they tend to, as we've seen before with the likes of Jack McMillan and other players, put them out on loan and then bring them back as better players. You know how the way Livingston works. So it is a hard one, but he is out of contract in the summer. So let's hope, because Scott Tiffany what an absolute baller. He's made such a difference. Where does Thistle go next season in the Championship? Do you think you would put them down as contenders to get back-to-back promotions?
I think next season's Championship's got to be the hardest it's ever been. No matter especially if Hearts are up, if Dundee go up, that's two big teams out the league next season. Because surely Ayr United, they finished fourth the previous season. You think they'd strengthen? There's a lot of teams that will have ambitions. So Thistle, I think they'll find it hard, but depends what Thistle's ambition is as well. You'll know better than me. Do you expect them to challenge at the top end next season?
I think McCall's mentality, we've finished second under McCall before. I'll get on to you, Liam, in a bit because I've seen you had a wee shake of the head there. But McCall's, we finished second under McCall before in the Championship, even though it was over 10 years ago. But it's a mentality McCall's got. He always wants to do the best. He's a Partick Thistle man, as it says in the song. So I do definitely look forward to it. I think the summer will define who we bring in the summer, will define how strengthened our squad is, how strong a chance we have got of climbing up that ladder. Liam, what were you going to say about Thistle's chances?
I'm not too knowledgeable on Thistle, but if you're just being promoted, I would probably say for Thistle's sake, they probably just want to steady the ship for the Championship. Avoid relegation should be the first aim for them to make sure that they don't fall into a similar situation that they may have been in. I know, like, they were kind of fucked over by the SPFL last season, but I think for Thistle's sake, they should just focus on steadying the ship, stay in the Championship for a couple of seasons, and then work towards getting promoted, I think.
Yeah, definitely. So that's all for Thistle. I'm sad to say, but definitely isn't all for Thistle because we are the champions. We're back, baby, and we're back with our bang. We have got two special derbies this weekend. Which one will we start on? I think it's only right to stay with Scottish football and start on the Old Firm derby this weekend. Apologies, Thistle fans, because it is a special derby and we do need to speak about it. So this is going to be a massive one. It's do or die for Scott Brown, isn't it? Because it is his last Old Firm derby.
I'll go first because obviously Scott Brown's coming to my team Aberdeen, but you've seen it with Scott Brown playing against Aberdeen as well, and I think it might be in the same as the Old Firm. He, at his age, he's not going to put in the challenges that he used to. He wants to come into Aberdeen to coach and to be fit and play, so he will want to go out and win this final Old Firm derby, but I don't think Scott Brown, from what I've seen in previous games, he wants to put in that before Scott Brown be right in people's faces, putting that meaty challenge.
Yeah,
he hasn't seemed to in the last few games, but I think he's maybe got an eye on that move to Aberdeen. But also on Scott Brown, it still baffles me how a club legend of 13, 14 years at Celtic, if he was offered a contract at Celtic, why he's not staying there. So there's something behind the scenes, I think, at Celtic as a club that is a problem.
Look, you seen Scott Brown in the last game. Ryan Kent was spinning him numerous times, to say the least. It's going to be a hard one if Ryan Kent gets matched up against him again, won't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think with Scott Brown, like, I think Robbie's definitely right. I think there's something behind the scenes, and I think that you could say that for Celtic in probably quite a lot of ways. There's probably a lot of things because they're not having the season they want to be. There's probably a lot of sort of disputes and arguments behind the scenes that we're not hearing about. But you know, this is a massive game for Rangers. Obviously, they've won the league, but they're still undefeated, and they're going to want to keep that streak going. So I think, yeah, Scott Brown's probably going to be motivated in this game, but I don't see Celtic winning. It's at Ibrox, isn't it?
Yes, 12 o'clock off Ibrox on Sunday.
Yeah, so yeah, obviously what you're saying about Scott Brown and Ryan Kent in the last game and things like that, I think he will be motivated if this is the last Old Firm, but I don't see Celtic beating them, to be honest. I just don't think this is the Celtic this season that we've seen in previous years.
Liam, Rangers come into this still unbeaten. Do you think it's a case of
in the league?
Yeah, exactly.
Still unbeaten in the league. You know what I was saying. Rangers come into this unbeaten in the league. Do you think it's a case of keeping the same starting 11 they have been doing in recent games, or do you think it's a case of resting players and trying them out?
You don't
It
rest.
is a massive game.
I know the game means nothing in terms of the season, but you don't rest any players for an Old Firm. So I think Rangers should just stick to what they're best.
The question that I would pose to you.
What are you going to say? Sorry.
I should have said it a different way. The question I would pose to you is, like, say you've got the likes of Nathan Patterson over Tavernier. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Like, just trying different things out because you're coming towards the end of the season. You've obviously got the transfer window coming up, seeing who works where. How can you move on for next season because the league is over?
Maybe for other games where they feel like they should definitely be winning, but for an Old Firm, I know, like I said, the game doesn't mean much in terms of the season, but an Old Firm's an Old Firm at the end of the day, and you still want to probably pull out your strong team. Celtic have that motivation to stop Rangers' invincible season, and Rangers will have that motivation to keep the invincible season going. So I don't think this is a time for experimenting at all, and I feel like Gerrard would be mad to.
I agree.
Yeah. Robbie, what were you going to say?
Yeah, I agree. I've seen that Liam Balogun's out and Jack Simpson will have to play in defence, but other than that, I think Rangers, like, I'm not from down the central belt, but from what I gather, so many people, the livelihood and weekends are riding on Celtic or Rangers, especially on Old Firm Day. So no matter what, it could be at women's football, it could be at under 18s, it could be a meaningless game. It matters to these fans, so they'll want to put out the strongest team and go all at it. And it saddens me to say it, but even Rangers lost to St Johnstone on penalties last week. I think Rangers will have too much for Celtic on Sunday.
Yeah, you've just mentioned Jack Simpson's going to be most likely starting in the centre of defence. Only played 190 minutes of football for Rangers so far. Many Rangers fans have called him a bomb scare on social media. What are your thoughts on that? He's made a few mistakes in games, but 190 minutes isn't a lot to get your feet into the ground, is it?
Nah, it's not at all. Is that the guy is he on loan from Bournemouth?
Bournemouth, yes.
Yeah, it's quite a random one, him on loan, and he's hardly played. And it's like Rangers just signed up the third choice goalie who's played less than 190 minutes in 3 years or something. So it's things like that. But I feel Celtic, even if Simpson plays in defence, Celtic, Edouard doesn't look interested. He's been linked to moves to the likes of Liverpool and other teams in the UK and abroad. And I think Celtic, maybe Lee Griffiths will get a chance because there was rumours on BBC that the new manager, whoever Celtic bring in, might still assess Lee Griffiths before he gets let go, perhaps at the end of the season.
Seen Liam praying there. Liam, what are your thoughts on the Odsonne Edouard links to Liverpool at the moment?
I would love Odsonne Edouard at Liverpool. I feel like he would rip the Premier League apart with Liverpool, especially under Jurgen Klopp. He's quick, he's strong, and he's versatile as well. And that's the perfect Liverpool forward right there. And he scores goals as well. That's what Liverpool lack in the middle of the pitch. We lack a clinical goal scorer. And I think Edwards on the cheap as well. Obviously, he could be available for a free next summer. But Celtic will be forced into selling this summer, obviously. They don't want to lose out on Edouard. And Edouard, I feel like Edouard at Liverpool, would be an absolute snip. And I know a lot of other clubs will be interested in him, and Liverpool certainly won't be on his top of his list. But I certainly think that Liverpool should be at least in the question.
Yeah. So getting into this game, could we agree that Rangers are getting into the Old Firm favourites?
Yeah.
Overall favourites?
Yeah.
Where does Celtic go coming into this game? Because Celtic have still to win an Old Firm fixture this season. If they were to lose this game, it would be the first time Celtic failed to beat Rangers in a season for 2 decades, I believe, 20 years. So John Kennedy, he's obviously interim manager. Do you think, Robbie, he has what it takes to make a sharp turnaround and beat Rangers, find out where their weaknesses are and expose them?
Now, I think Celtic under John Kennedy, as I've touched on about the problems behind the scenes, I think the whole thing at Celtic is they're just going through the motions of players. They don't seem like, me as an Aberdeen fan, I was pleased to get a draw against Celtic. Quite sad, actually, they scored late on, but Celtic just weren't themselves in that game. There was very slow, missed a lot of chances, and I feel they won't want to go a whole season without losing to Rangers, but it would take some performance from Celtic, and I just don't see that coming from them. But I could eat my words and it could happen, but you probably all agree it's not. Celtic haven't showed much glimpses of that recently. Ryan Christie's only efforts go over the bar, and we all know that.
Ryan
Oh,
Rosette.
Jesus, don't even start me on that. It's going to be a great game. I'm looking forward to it because the passion, as you said, in this city, it rides on the Old Firm fixture. It doesn't matter form, whatever. Form's all out the window, and it all comes down to the one fixture. This weekend, if you're a Celtic or a Rangers fan, doesn't matter about form, who's won. Obviously, Rangers fans are going to rub it in who's won the league. The bragging rights for this city come down to this fixture alone. And I'm saying it with a Partick Thistle scarf on. I'm saying it with a Partick. There is only one team in Glasgow, but let's be honest here. You've obviously got the two biggest sides of the city. There is only one team in Glasgow, we all know that, but the two biggest sides in the city, I think the rivalry comes down to bragging rights, and that the green side and the blue side. Rangers seem to be favourites coming into it. Would you say Rangers will take it comfortably, or do you think it'll be a close game like the last time? Because obviously Celtic missed many opportunities, and to be honest with you, they could have even snatched a win, if not a draw, with some of the chances they did miss.
I think personally it's going to go like the cup. It's going to be plain sailing for Rangers, and I just feel like if they weren't going to show up at Celtic in the cup, they're not going to show up this game, and I just feel like it's going to end in disaster for Celtic again. It's going to be another 2-0, 3-1.
Yeah, I agree. I think with Celtic, like we've been talking about it all season, like is this going to be the game they sort of get back to their old ways? I don't think it's for a lack of trying or like motivation. It's an Old Firm. Like these players are going to be motivated. They're going to be given everything they've got. But I just think when it's not going for you, it's not going for you. And it's been the case all season for Celtic. And to expect them to turn that around against the best team in the country this year, I just think it's too big an ask.
Robbie, what are your predictions for the Old Firm?
The Old Firm, I think, pains me to say it, but I think Rangers will win 3-1.
Look,
I was going to say 3-1 as well, but I won't copy Robbie. I'll say 3-2 then, make it a bit closer.
3-2. And Liam, you've just given yours, haven't you?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with a 1-each draw because we've seen it at Celtic Park earlier in the season. I feel there's far too much passion riding on it for Celtic because it's our last chance to get anything out of this season, out of the cup, out of the league. Rangers will stay unbeaten, but I feel it will be a 1-each draw, even though it is at Ibrox. Especially after the last fixture, I think Celtic will be looking to take something from it, being so disappointed, missing so many chances.
Hello, MANSCAPED. Hello, MANSCAPED. Did you see there's a code you can use for 20% off? BSR Sports 20, link in bio. Perfect. Guys, if you don't use it, you're daft. You're very, very daft.
100%.
So,
need to get your hands on this.
You really do. It's honestly,
thank you.
Like, the leading market in men's grooming. Like you can't go wrong with something.
If you're
like
not
this.
leaving yourself happy, you're not leaving the ladies happy. That's
5-star reviews. Go for it. You won't be disappointed.
You must get You must get this package alone just for the newspaper. Like the newspaper just
for the newspaper alone.
It's going up on my wall.
It does mean no mess. Like I don't think they've missed out anything. No mess, no noise, in the dark. Good smell. Good tone. Grip, size. Oh my. Boxers t-shirt.
Can it go wrong?
If this is not the full package, what is?
I might leave the podcast and just go use this.
If you want £20 off, 20%, £20 off. Link is in the bio. It's just very daft if you didn't do it. If you're not going to do it.
Yep. So it should be an interesting Old Firm derby anyway. Another derby this weekend, Liam, and look, you'll be interested to see that Manchester United and Liverpool face off for the last time this season. it's all about the bragging rights for, I would say, for the city, but it's not. It's for the rivalry. And what better way to do it than 4 o'clock on Sunday afternoon? Liam, are you confident getting into this game? It seems to be Man United that are getting into this game the more confident the two for the first time in a while, because a 6-2 win against Roma. Look,
Yep.
incredible win. What are your thoughts about that victory, first of all?
Yeah, really good performance overall. Not really what you expected first half. Well, you say that, maybe it is what you'd expect from Man United. They actually started all right, went 1-0 up, but it just seems like Man U can't play a good game overall unless they're losing at one point or another. So go 2-1 down, and whatever Ollie says to them at half time just seems to spur them on like it so often does, and gets the response that he wants from the players. And I thought they were brilliant second half, especially Edinson Cavani. Just what a signing he's been, I think, on a free. Couldn't really... Sorry?
A standout player, sorry to interrupt you there, but a standout player I think we all noticed, Paul Pogba. He get caught, you see, I don't know if you've seen the video on social media, he get called up for another doping test at the end of the game because of the performance that he did pull off again. He's a special player when he wants to. When he turns up, he's lightning, isn't he?
Yeah. Listen, Paul Pogba's an amazing player. I think we've known this for a long time, for many seasons. But until he commits to the club, I'm honestly not going to spend a lot of time talking about him. I think his attitude has improved this season, on the pitch at least. He's put in a lot of really good performances. Statistically, I don't even know if it's his best season at United. A few years ago, he scored like 10, 13 goals, something like that. But just obviously all these rumours from his agent and other things. And those rumours are still there, but on the pitch, he seems focused. He doesn't seem like a player who's thinking about leaving to go to another club, even though I think potentially he is. Like I say, I find it hard to get excited about Pogba until he signs a 4 or 5 year deal with us, because I think it still seems to me more likely that his future is elsewhere than in Manchester. But listen, talking about his performances, he's unbelievable. I really don't think there's many players in his position that are better than him, certainly on his day. I think he's added a lot of consistency to his game this year. I feel like there's not been a huge amount of games that he's not turned up in, and obviously he got caught out for the penalty yesterday, just a bit clumsy, leaving his hand in the air when he went.
He said can't tackle like an Englishman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I enjoyed that interview.
Yeah, exactly, and that you like to see that as well from him, like having a laugh. Because I remember the first season he came to United, it was him and Ibrahimovic, and he was having a laugh in all his interviews. It always seemed like he was enjoying himself, and it seemed like that again sort of last night, like having a bit of a laugh in the interview. Is not so tense and stressed as he has been in recent years. But yeah, bit of a daft mistake with the penalty. Can't really complain about it. But scored the goal in the end, and overall just played brilliantly.
Yep. Coming from the other side, Liam, how are you feeling coming into this derby? Massive one, but not in the best form.
With watching Liverpool play, can you ever be confident at this point? We could have 50 bloody shots a game and still not score. It's just weak mentality at this point, and I'm actually annoyed that Man U won by so much, because if Man U still had the game the tie is over virtually now, and if the tie was still in the balance going into the second leg, I think okay, maybe Man U will rest a few key players here to prepare for this second leg. But now they have the opportunity to play a full strength team in this game, which in a circumstance, this game means nothing to United, but everything to Liverpool, because Liverpool need to win this if they have any ambitions of getting in the top 4. And to be perfectly honest, I don't see us getting in. I see us maybe getting a draw, but with the way we're playing right now, I'll tell you how this game will turn out, right? One of Salah or Jota will score in the first half, maybe in like the first 20 minutes or so. We'll have shot after shot after shot after shot, and then someone will come off the bench, i.e. Cavani or Greenwood. They'll score an absolute peach of a strike, or it'll be like a goalkeeping howler, and we'll concede another late equaliser.
Another late equaliser after the peach.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah, a last minute winner. Joe Willock, does that strike nerves in your body?
Oh, fucking hell.
I was going to pipe up and say the same.
There's a funny story about that goal. Actually, I was working at the time, and then I picked up my phone. I saw that I saw goal Newcastle, Callum Wilson. I was like, oh, for God's sake! Then I see another notification saying VAR disallowed, and then I was like, yes, right. And then I see another notification pop up saying goal Joe Willock. I'm like, oh, fucking
madness. I was out at the time when I seen it. It was absolute madness.
And I was just sitting there like, I mean, this just sums up our season. Like we could have all the chances in the world and we won't score. And I don't think this is down to any players being injured. I think this is just a poor mentality within the team at this point, because if you're having 30, 35 chances a game, I think it was around that for Liverpool against Newcastle. Let's not get it wrong. I thought when I watched the highlights back, I thought Liverpool actually played quite well against Newcastle. Which obviously it was just the final product that was severely lacking. And I'm not going to blame anyone. I'm not blaming Salah one bit here. Salah is the only player that can walk away with this season with any form of pride, in my opinion. Mane, Firmino, and to an extent Jota, all had gilt-edged chances to win us that game, and they didn't take them. And this just shows that we need to dip into the market for a forward, either one or two forwards. And it's just pain at this point. Like it's the same thing happened against Leeds as well. You can see it coming a mile away. Like if Liverpool can't seem to just bag that second goal, and when we do, it's a stressful moment, like against Aston Villa.
Yeah. Coming into this game, do you feel this game is to put? Obviously, would you say second is in the bag first of all?
I'd have to look at the table, but I think that they've got. I think the gap between second and third is the same as it is between second and first, or something like that. So, like if City have pretty much definitely won the league, then you could say United have definitely got second. I think that's the most important thing really this season is well, at least third, just getting automatic Champions League football. I think, yeah, if United don't get second now, something has to really, really go wrong. But they should still be motivated to win this game. It's Liverpool in the league. It's the biggest. Pretty much the biggest league game you're going to play in a United shirt. So it's huge, yeah.
What I was going to ask you is, after putting so much effort into the Europa League fixture on Thursday, do you think it'd be a case of some players may take their foot off the gas, not intentionally, but in such a big game for Liverpool are getting into this game needing a win. Man United maybe not so much. So could that play a factor?
I don't think it's going to be that United players aren't like motivated and thinking they need the 3 points. I think they'll know they need the 3 points. Maybe not as much as Liverpool, but I do think Europa League's going to come into it. I think when you look at United's sort of track history with Ole, with Mourinho, with whoever they've been managed by playing in the Europa League, they always seem to have a sort of hangover from the Europa League playing in the league. Like this is a problem that I've been noticing for years, and it seems like our worst games always come after the Europa. Not always, but I feel like 9 times out of 10 when it's a bad result, it's off the back of the Europa League. And that's not to make excuses. Like we've seen how good City are at managing their team, and I think that's a weakness of Ole. I'm a huge supporter of him, but I don't think he's very good at balancing his team. I think he sort of plays 11, 12 of the 13 of the same players pretty much all the time. And then when you do make changes, especially like in defence and other areas, it doesn't really come off because those players don't really have the minutes and momentum going into the game. So yeah, I think that's an issue. Like ideally, you'd play different players on a Thursday night in the Europa League, and then be able to bring others in, or rest ones in the league and be able to bring others in who have that sort of momentum and match fitness. But it doesn't seem to be the case for United. Maybe they need a better squad of players, but I don't think so. I think we've got a good squad. So yeah, I definitely do. Again, not to make excuses. It's United's own fault, but I do think playing on a Thursday affects United negatively a lot. Yeah.
Liam, what are your thoughts on the top 4 race? Because it is a very tight one. You've got West Ham in front of you, and then it's Chelsea you need to catch up on. Would you say Europa League is a realistic target for Liverpool this season, or do you think Champions League is for the taking?
It's obviously there for the taking. It's there until it's mathematically impossible for Liverpool. But if we're going to be,
as you've seen with Partick Thistle,
it's going to be. If
never
we're
say never.
If we're going to be realistic at this point, Chelsea look like they've got it nailed on at this point. Leicester, obviously, they drew tonight, but they don't look like slipping up at any point. And for Liverpool to get top four at this point, they need to win every single game, hope for a few slip-ups here and there. I'm not worried about West Ham because West Ham, I knew were going to go on a downward slope eventually. They just had to. There was no way they were going to keep it up till the end of the season. I feel like a realistic position for Liverpool is probably going to be 5th or 6th. I can still see us getting top 4. I've seen us get out of the stickier situations before. But based on how this season has gone, there's no chance because, like I said, we can have all the chances in the world and we just won't score. It's nothing to do with injuries or anything. It's just poor mentality at this point. And I think a lot of the players, even the manager at times, have down tools. Because the manager has made some strange substitutions I've seen recently. And when we wanted to, I noticed when we played Newcastle, we made some strange substitutions. Like Thiago was one of the best players on the pitch against Newcastle, controlling the game. And then he took him off, or what was it, Curtis Jones or something like that. We were 1-0 up.
Yeah.
We had to see the game out, and then you bring on an inexperienced teenager to see out the game. Obviously, we brought on Milner as well, but you're taking off the player who is literally carrying the midfield. And to be perfectly honest, for Liverpool's sake, top 4 doesn't seem likely, but I've seen us get out of stickier situations before.
Yeah. Boys, predictions. Robbie, we'll start with you. What are your predictions for this Sunday? What is your prediction for this Sunday's derby between Liverpool and Manchester United?
Well, as a Manchester United fan, I want to actually touch on a few things quickly. I think in terms of, I agree with Luke in a way, in terms of not rotating the squads, but you'll know as a Scottish football fan, Partick Thistle have played 3 games in a week. Professional footballers, that's what they get paid for. So Stephen Glass, Aberdeen's manager, made that excuse, the players being tired. I don't buy that at all in terms of playing Thursday and Sunday. They should be able to do that at that level. But I do question why Man United are signing Eric Bailly on a 4-year deal when he's been injured as much as Phil Jones. I know he maybe still has a bit of potential in him, but that's quite a strange one going into that game in terms of pre-match stuff. But I think United, I'd fancy United to win this purely because City can win the league if United slip points. I think that's something we need to mention on this podcast, that Man City can win the league this weekend. So that's something United won't want the noisy neighbours to win yet another title after winning the Carabao Cup last weekend. So I think United will want to put another good performance in. I think there's players there like Dan James who might get a chance, and I think they can step up because Liverpool don't frighten me anymore like a couple of seasons ago, but I can see them there for the taking as a United point of view. So your prediction, I'm going to go 3-1. I'm going to go 3-1 United, the same as my old firm prediction to Rangers. I'll go 3-1 Man United.
Excellent point indeed. If Man United drop points, I actually forgot about that. If Man United drop points, Manchester City come away with the title. What a week it would be for Manchester City, wouldn't it be?
See if they win the Champions League as well. I'm going to just cry. I don't care. I do not want Man City winning the Champions League under any circumstance.
Agreed.
What a performance against PSG. Just remarkable. And to win the Carabao Cup, to go and do that against PSG, and then to potentially win the league on Sunday, it could be the week of dreams for Pep Guardiola. The week of tears for Liam Murphy, it could be as well.
I think that's the caption.
What is your prediction for Sunday? And how many bottles of Kleenex are you going to be buying? Boxes of Kleenex are you going to be buying?
You know what? It wouldn't surprise me if Liverpool put out their best performance of the season and we ended up beating them like 3-0. Like we done against. I remember when we beat Arsenal 3-0, like a month back, and I remember when we put in some class performances against the likes of Crystal Palace and all that. But
I remember.
I know, I'm reminiscing at this point, but it's all going to be based on team selection from Klopp. I'll say this now: if Fabinho is playing centre back, we won't win the game. If Fabinho is playing midfield, I think we'll have a very strong chance of it. But I think I summed up how I think the game's going to go earlier on, and I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to go with a 1-1.
Look, what's your prediction?
I don't know, because Robbie's making me want to be confident, but I just don't. I'm not confident. It's at Old Trafford, and we've not played as well. I think we play better away than we do at home, and obviously the whole Europa League thing. Like I'm saying, I really am a firm
6-2
believer.
at home at Old Trafford. You won 6-2 at home.
That's
It's
true,
your
in the Europa League,
it's your place for the taking now.
I was gonna say 1-1, but I won't copy Liam's result. I'll say 2-1 to United to be optimistic. But I think it's going to be a close game. Definitely, I don't think it's going to be easy for either side.
Oh, I'll say 2-1 Liverpool. I think it's going to be a close game, but I think Liverpool are going to take it because there's more in it for Liverpool. Man United have just done the job that needed done. This is obviously a derby. The bragging rights are in it, but the energy's not going to be the same. The energy levels, the stamina is not going to be the same because of the performance put in on Thursday. So I see Liverpool having more of an enthusiasm to stretch out the game, to take it to Man United and to grind out a win.
It'll be based on the fact if one of the other forwards turn up. Like Salah can only do so much carrying as he can. One other forward, if just one of the other front three were to turn up and they took their chances, we'd blow most teams apart. Mane, I don't know what the fuck's happened with Mane. He used to be one of the best players in the world. Now look at him. And you look at the other options such as Jota and Firmino. Firmino, I love the guy, but we need a centre forward in the future. We just need a proper striker who can just score goals. This is the problem I have. Salah is a wonderful footballer. He's one of the best. I would say the best winger in the Premier League. Up for debate, yes, I understand, but he's only so much carrying he can do, and this Liverpool team is just absolute dug meat. And when you're having to force your team into a top four battle, when you were champions last season, it's just going to be a massive downplaying mentality.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for joining us, boys. That's all for tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure. Please do us a massive favour and click that subscription button down below. Help us out. If you've got any predictions for this weekend, leave them in the comment section below and we will see if you get them right or not. Boys, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. And until next week, it's a goodbye from me.
God bless.
Bye for me.